Laser miniature trucks won't be the only size BYU students will be working on. They also go full size. BYU students have put together this Formula One car that can go from 0 to 60 in 4 seconds. You could consider this seat being a pretty good one, but this one right here can be just as good. The BYU performers will have to act, sing, and dance in such a way so that even a person in this seat can fully appreciate the show. Aquí en Toledo esta puerta se llama la Puerta del Sol y fue construida en el siglo XIV. Es uno de los accesos directos a la ciudad antigua y su arquitectura es típica mudéjar toledana. One of the things Salsa Chocolate has done to draw more attention to their dancing nights is adding a live salsa band with members of the BYU Drum Club. After spending the whole day reviewing and passing bills, the last session of the legislature closed a little bit ago. Now it's all about how each bill will affect each one of our communities in the state of Utah. Javier Misiego, BYU Daily News, Salt Lake City.
BYU Daily News reporter Javier Misiego was on the scene. Javier, what started this whole thing?
Well, the crew members of the United Airlines Flight 741 found a threatening note that forced the plane to make the emergency landing in Salt Lake City. This prompted a massive law enforcement response. 168 passengers stranded at the Salt Lake International Airport kept telling each other how happy they felt to be out of that plane. Their flight plan was from Denver to San Francisco, but 45 minutes into the flight, the captain had a disturbing announcement.
It sounded like his voice was about to quiver, like he was about to cry or something. And he said, there's been a viable bomb threat.
The note on the beverage tray had enough information for the crew to consider it a valid threat, and shortly after, they diverted to Salt Lake City, where police and FBI agents checked the luggage and screened each passenger.
Sequestered us in the Immigration and Customs office in the International Terminal for 2.5 hours. No cell phones, no texting, no nothing.
Some of the passengers complained about how long authorities took to clear them from the plane.
I was really frustrated for the fact that there was a bomb threat and we sat in the plane for 30 minutes. I was hoping they can just evacuate us right away.
All passengers eventually collected their baggage and got on another flight to California. Even though this turned out to be nothing more than a scare, the passengers took it very seriously.
I think after this experience, I would value my life more. I appreciate my family and friends.
No criminal charges so far, and the FBI hasn't released any more information, saying their investigation is ongoing.
Javier, what should people do if they find a note like that on a plane?
Well, hopefully, we don't get to that point, but if you ever do find a note, Homeland Security suggests a few things. One is to not touch the note because that could destroy evidence. Another one is to give it to a crew member so they can do their job and remain calm at all times.
Thanks, Javier.
Thanks.
BYU Daily News reporter Javier Misiego was at the Capitol all the way to the end. Javier, what was the legislature able to get done?
Well, Casey, they voted down the bill that would ban affirmative action here in the state of Utah. They also played give and take on budget issues and passed new ethics legislation. Today, legislators on both sides of the aisle will finally rest after an intense 45-day session. As the clock kept ticking, fatigue kept creeping, but lawmakers pushed on all the way to midnight. This senator uses his musical talents to wake up his colleagues.
For the longest time, the session goes. For the longest time.
For many legislators, it's a bittersweet feeling to see the session come to an end.
I hope I've made a difference. I hope that I've helped create some positive change in the state, and I think that's about all we can hope for as legislators.
Every session has its own personality, its own characteristics.
And this session was definitely unique. Utah faced a budget shortfall for the second year in a row because of recession. Lawmakers worked around the clock to figure out how to pay for the public services like education. The session had its high and low points. Democrat Representative Christine Johnson says that the state should do more for schools.
We have 11,000 new students coming into the public education system in Utah, and we're not funding that growth.
And Republican Senator John Valentine of Orem says he's proud of new ethics legislations.
The passage of the Independent Ethics Commission was a great high point for me personally.
But one thing that lawmakers and activists agree on is the need for people to be involved.
And unless constituents get angry and make their thoughts known to their elected officials, nothing will change.
Can you boogie the economic blues away? For the owners of the nightclub Salsa Chocolate, dancing is doing just that. Since the recession started, the club has almost closed at some points, but they have managed to stay up on their toes. So what's their secret?
Salsa Chocolate could not exist without the community. Salsa Chocolate could not be run, could not function without the community.
Community volunteers offer their time and talents to keep Salsa Chocolate in business. They all have close relationships with the owner, but say the main motivation for their service is the love they have for salsa dancing.
My heart just starts thumping, and then I just in a different world. It's like I'm in salsa heaven, and nothing around me exists but me, the music, and my partner, and it's just wonderful.
Celebrating birthdays, hosting special events, or even teaching salsa classes are some of the things this club does to make it profitable. They keep finding new ways to make dancing a remarkable experience. Another thing Salsa Chocolate recently added to draw more attention is a live salsa band with members from the BYU Drum Club.
Everybody comes, have fun. The place is not big, huge, you know, like other places I play. So it makes it more like a family.
Even though the status of the economy seems like a threat to these type of small businesses, Salsa Chocolate keeps brainstorming to make their business grow and your hips move. Adam? These performances bring the tale of famous ball player Timothy Casey to life on stage as a full-length family musical. They are staging this upbeat theatrical production for the very first time. Creator and writer of the musical Tom Child was excited to see his own show finally performed.
So to actually see it at this level with a full cast and the amount of time they spent on it, which is wonderful.
The bases are loaded with catchy songs, dances, romance, villains, and even fights. The cast says their main goal is to have this message hit home.
The importance of home and love and family and finding a home wherever you are, whether your family's close by or not.
Just like in a real baseball game, the audience sits all around the action. You could consider this seat being a pretty good one, but this one right here can be just as good. The BYU performers will have to act, sing, and dance in such a way so that even a person in this seat can fully appreciate the show.